This video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. The 3 best places to put your stop loss. Every trader faces the question, where do I put my stop loss? In this video, we will be going over the best places to put your stop loss so that you don't get stopped out too early, and you also make sure that you get the best risk to reward. Stick around until the end for an amazing stop loss management technique to help you win more trades and keep more of your profit. Behind a swing high or low. The most obvious place to put your stop loss, which most traders use, is the closest swing high or swing low. However, this is not the best approach to use. Let's see why. Here we have a trade entered and the stop loss below the nearest swing low. You can see how the price comes back and stops you out, even though it turns around and then goes in your direction. This is because you need to put your stop loss below an intermediate swing low, which is usually the second one to the left. You can check this by using the MACD histogram. Make sure the MACD is red to confirm the swing low and green to confirm the swing high. This will tell you the best place to put your stop loss. This trade has another problem as well. Even though we crossed the 4 EMA after a break of structure, we do not have a return to the 50% level, and that is where price goes to later. You could have been profitable if you only used it for a scalp, but the real move happened after the return to the 50% level. Behind the fair value gap. Another great place to put your stop loss is the fair value gap. The best place to put your stop loss on a fair value gap is at the bottom for a bullish trade and at the top for a bearish trade. If the fair value gap is large, you may have to draw a line at the 50% level and use that as your stop loss. Here are some examples. This fair value gap uses the 50% level as the stop loss area. You can place your stop loss right here, right below the 50% level. As you see, this is your break of structure. And then when price retraces, that would have been your entry. And then as price continues on, what you're looking for is a move above this swing high. And if price is going to go the other way, it will definitely go below the 50% level of this fair value gap. Price continues on, creates 3 fair value gaps, and then comes back. And this could have been another entry, or if you held on to your trade, you would have put your stop loss below one of these fair value gaps. But this demonstration is to show you that this fair value gap is the one that was respected, and price continued on and went considerably higher to the upside. Here's something many ICT traders overlook. ICT said that he considers wicks as fair value gaps, so we treat them the same and can use them as a place for our stop loss. If the wick is very large, again we will place our stop loss beyond the consequent encroachment or 50% level of the wick. 5 pips beyond the wick is a good practice to use. Here are some examples. In this example, you can see 50% of this wick is respected and is treated just like a fair value gap. In this example, you can see how price responds off of 50% of this wick and continues to take out this liquidity. Then it goes down, and if you look on a 15-minute chart, this would be a wick, and this is 50% of that wick. And you can see how price respects that and comes off of that as well. Behind an order block. One of the best places to put your stop loss is behind an order block. When price is reaching for a target, it usually has numerous retracements that will tap into an order block to rebalance price. The way you can tell if price is going to retrace further is if it goes past the mean threshold or 50% of the order block. If it does, then your last clue will be the bottom of the order block or the top of the order block. Let's take a look at some examples. In this example, we have 3 order blocks. This order block is actually violated on the downside. However, there is a fair value gap in here where price respects the 50% level of that fair value gap. But you could have used this order block as well as an entry or a stop loss. So what we're looking for is a break of structure, a retrace to 50%, and that's retraced to 50% of this impulse. And you can use this order block as your stop loss. But you see how price responds off of this order block in this fair value gap and then continues to the upside. But as we talk about on this channel, using the 4 EMA as an entry point, price crosses the 4 EMA here, and that is your entry point. It gives you the clue of the momentum of price movement. And combining what we talked about earlier, placing your stop below the intermediate swing level, or if you want a better risk to reward, you could use this order block. Here is another example. This order block is created, then this one. ICT calls this a propulsion block. It's the second order block after the original one, where price reacts from. There is a break of structure. Price moves down into this propulsion block to 50% and then reacts. And as we said with our entries crossing the 4 EMA, that would be your entry there. And you could place your stop loss below this intermediate swing low, or you could place your stop loss behind the original entry. But as you see what we talked about earlier, if you would have placed your stop loss behind this short-term swing low, your stop would have been violated when price came back during the New York Open. It would have taken you out, and then it continued on to the upside, looking for this liquidity. Here's the last one where we have all 3 types of approaches to using the order block as a stop loss. In this example, we have 50% of the order block. Then we have moving down to the bottom of the order block as your stop loss. And here, the top of the order block is what's being respected as price moves to the upside. Bonus: stop loss management. As promised, here's the best way to manage your stop loss while trading. When price breaks structure or reaches an opposing order block or fair value gap, reduce your risk and move your stop loss to the nearest order block, fair value gap, or swing level, even if it's a short-term level. Then, when price moves to your take profit 1, move your stop loss to an order block, fair value gap, or swing level behind one other order block, fair value gap, or swing level. Then when price reaches your take profit 2, again, move your stop loss behind the second closest order block, fair value gap, or swing level. Here's an example. In this example, we have a break of structure. This is a 15-minute fair value gap, and we're on a 5-minute chart. Price comes down to 50% of that fair value gap, which is also 50% of this impulse leg. You could enter here per ICT instructions. However, if you wait for price to cross the 4 EMA, you seem like you're a little bit late because price breaks structure again and took this liquidity. Now, when it retraced back into this fair value gap, you could have entered here. But let's take ICT's entry just for this example. So again, our price came back to 50% of the impulse and 50% of the 15-minute fair value gap. We entered right when it touched that level, and we placed our stop loss below the fair value gap, usually around 5 pips below. Then price moved to the upside, took this liquidity, and broke structure. We would move our stop loss to 50% of this fair value gap. That is per the instructions. When price breaks structure, reduce your risk and move your stop loss to the nearest order block fair value gap or swing level. So we reduced our risk, and then price continued to the upside. Now take profit 1 occurred. We move our stop loss to the second order block fair value gap or swing level. This coincidentally is a swing level. It's also a fair value gap, and it's also an order block. This is the first fair value gap. So this is your take profit. After take profit 1 happens, you move your stop loss to the second order block fair value gap or swing level. So right here we have a swing level and an order block. So we will put our stop loss below the fair value gap. This is the first level right before take profit 1, and below the fair value gap is the second. So we're going to move a second time from here to right below this fair value gap. Now when price goes to take profit 2, you see there's an order block and a fair value gap. So the order block is the first level. The second level would be the fair value gap. So we would move our stop loss right behind the fair value gap. And as you see, if you placed your stop below this order block or this swing level, you would have been stopped out. However, using this fair value gap, you would still be in the trade and be able to benefit from that move. And as you see, price continues aggressively to the upside. And you would continue to move your stop loss to the second level order block fair value gap or swing level. Again, we see order block, swing level. Price comes down, takes out the order block, takes out the swing level, but respects this fair value gap. So if you put your stop loss below this fair value gap, you would still be in the trade and benefit from another impulse. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more videos like these. Also, please leave a comment if you have any questions or if you have any other video suggestions. Thank you for watching.